This is Valencay. I hope I said that right, because some of you might want to come here at some time or another. So if anybody says, are we nearly there yet?
In 400 meters, your destination will be on the right.
Yeah, okay. In 400 meters, our destination will be on the right. I wonder if it's their destination as well. But I'm going to find somewhere to park.
Your destination is on the right.
Now, we might get a little wet, but hey, anywhere that you can see a Citroën traction avant parked near a Renault fourgon. Oh, with chocolate in it. That's a good thing, isn't it? Is this looking like an interesting sort of place to be, do you think? I know it's raining. Put your hat on. Right, I'm going to put you away because I'm going to do some serious looking, and then we'll think about getting you out again. Now, there is a small amount of very, very interesting junk, but it's raining, and I do wonder how determined you are to see pieces of oh, I can't think of the name, Velo Solexes, and yeah. So I think what we're going to do to stay out of the rain, we're going to go into the building that's behind me. It's a museum, and it's open today between 7 in the morning and 6 in the evening, and it's only going to cost me €4. Well, between you, if you can, if you can find €4, that would be good. Just asked the lady if it was all right to show you lot what's in here, and if I could use my camera, and she said, yes, of course it is. Absolument. Look at that, a Renault Alpine. Going round and round and round. Yeah, have I got to walk around and look at all of these slowly? I did clear the chip before I came out, but I do wonder if the chip will cope with this. You know, Matt the Scrap Whisperer would just love that, wouldn't he? Big old generator. Wonderful. Peugeot 205, wow, whatever. Citroën, Visa GTI, Volkswagen Golf. Oh, these are, a Renault 12. If you see something exciting that you really want me to study, just ask. Look at that. Where we can't really, yes we can see it. Okay, some of you love Kawasaki's and Yamahas and things like that, but when your eye falls on a thing like this, You have to take your time, don't you? A Vincent Rapide, a plumber's nightmare. Look at that great big 1000cc V-twin motor. Way, way, way superior to a Harley. Also more expensive. Much better than a Moto BK 125. They have a little cinema. And they've got pictures of people. Some of them you will know. Yes. Yes. Elizabeth the Queen Mother. Wonder what she was doing here. Now, being where we are, it may be that there are some marks that you and I have never heard of. You know, what is a mattis? I don't know, but it's rather gorgeous, isn't it? A moche. Yeah, well, and why not? A Peugeot. And that's the engine that goes in that. Or came out of it, or came out of one very much like it. What a wonderful little engine. That would go in a goofy cart, wouldn't it? And I know some of you can't survive without seeing a 2CV. Well, in a museum like this, of course there are 2CVs, but they're hidden behind much more interesting things like that gnome roan flat twin motorbike. What a wonderful thing. Not sure you would call that wonderful, although I guess when Monsieur Paul Valencay was building them and flogging them, people thought it was wonderful, but yes, don't touch. Ne pas toucher. Don't touch, all right? There's too much to see, isn't there? That's a rather lovely looking car from 1960. And I don't know anything about these. I'm just reading the signs in front of them. But that is a very handsome looking vehicle. A Renault Frégate Transfluide. I wonder if I could buy that from them and use it for trips to the airport. And of course you can't be in France without looking at Citroëns. Well, I'm sort of a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. This, you know, besides the fact that there's more cars in this building than there are in Azay-le-Ferron, what wonderful vehicles they are. Even this funny little thing. Englishmen all know what this is. You know, this is a parachutist motorbike with a little Villiers engine. If you jump out of an aeroplane and you want to have a motorbike with you, that's what you end up with. After the war, they did try to sell them on the civilian market. They did sell them on the civilian market, but, well, they were what they were. Well, of course you've got to have a BSA, haven't you? The world is not complete unless you've got a BSA or two. I know a little bit about BSAs, or Birmingham Small Arms. You know, they were built in Birmingham, and I've had a few BSAs, but nothing as old and as interesting as that. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That's a strange looking thing. A gear-driven bicycle. You know, a drive shaft and a bicycle. Okay. Ah, right, see, history. You can't get away from history. This is a Renault two-cylinder engine, and it's described as it's the engine type that was mounted in Les Taxis de la Marne. Now, if you go over to one of the history channels, History Underground or something like that, he will tell you all about how during the First World War, for the Battle of the Marne, the French army desperately needed to get soldiers to the front and needed to do it very quickly. So the taxis, the Parisian taxis, drove basically the French army to the Battle of the Marne in taxis. Obviously they drove more there than they brought back. But that's the sort of engine that was mounted in the Renault taxis that took the soldiers. A Ford? A Ford Comet. And another Ford. What does Ford say? Found on road dead? Is that? Yes, something like that. Now, some people think that these cars should be cut down, lowered, given funny little racing bodies to try and get speed records and such likes. But I guess it would be wrong not to try and film what a Ford Model T should look like. The label says this one is a 1908. Right, you've seen a Ford Model T, we can go now, can't we? No, we can't, there's still so much more to see. That's more my size, isn't it? A pedal car. And toy cars, we can all cope with toy cars, can't we? That's an interesting looking little cart, isn't it? 3 oil pumps. I like that. I like that a lot.
Eh oui, bon, eh bien, sur ce, bonne vote. Ouais, eh bien d'accord. Bisous à toi. Merci, toi aussi. Bisous.
Yes, you see, these are marks that I've never heard of. A licorne. Beautiful little car, isn't it? Now, I guess we've all heard of Panhard. I hope we've all heard of them. But that's a bit of a beast, isn't it? A 1937 Panhard Dynamique. A Delage. I have heard of Delage, although it's not a type of motor car I know anything about. And a Clement Bayard. Now that's right-hand drive. Okay, sure there's a reason. But this goes back to the days when the radiator was behind the engine. Why not? And of course this is what vehicles are really all about. Taking your goats to market.
Jérôme, oui, on pourrait avoir de la lumière là-bas, dans le fond.
Ah bah faut prendre... attends, j'arrive. Et bah justement, j'en ai parlé hier, on m'a dit, non, c'est pas la peine. Non, je vous apporte ce qu'il faut. Les sons. Ouais, bah oui, c'est son. J'arrive.
Something that just caught my eye. Don't we all need one of those? Well, I don't at the moment, it's true, but an étau à piston pour monter les segments. It's a vice for holding your pistons while you're putting your piston rings in. That's a good idea, isn't it? There's a terrible joke there somewhere, isn't there? You know, piston broke. And I do wonder how you get a crankshaft in that condition. Changing down when you should have changed up. Who knows? I thought some of you would get a buzz out of that. A Petit Gonfleur Michelin. It's a tyre pump. Well, so much for museums and all that. I think I ought to go and look at the railway station shortly. But before we do that, I thought we could just have a look at some of the cars that have come along to join in the general jollities of the day. You know, this, yes, it's a car show. You wouldn't normally see this many old cars in the supermarket car park. Oh dear, that one's for sale. That one's for sale. But it's raining out here and I'm getting wet and the camera's getting wet, and you all know what 2CVs look like. You might not all know what Aston Martins look like. And Ford Capris. I'm old enough to remember when they were new. I had a friend who had one that colour. Now, for reasons best known to himself, he bought the 1300, which seemed to be a bit of a nonsense. But he liked it, and when you buy a car, it doesn't matter what other people think, it's what you think that counts, isn't it?